Straight ahead on 12 News, close call on a playground.
Oh my God, he's dead, was what I thought.
Then, why local officials have their sights set on next year for a big ice rink project. But first, a local jail guard faces charges connected to guns she bought. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A former guard at Hennepin County's Adult Corrections Facility in Plymouth faces federal charges.
Officials from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives say a Maple Grove woman purchased guns for a convicted gang member. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, the practice is referred to as straw purchasing, where people buy firearms on behalf of people with criminal backgrounds who are otherwise prohibited from buying the guns themselves. The Star Tribune reports that while Jackie Burns was working as a corrections officer at the Plymouth Workhouse, she bought 3 guns in January and February for her boyfriend, DeAndre Hill. Burns met Hill while he was serving time in the workhouse last summer and continued a romantic relationship with him after his release from jail. Police arrested Hill this week for his role in the shooting of an 8-year-old Minneapolis girl. As for Burns, Hennepin County fired her from her corrections officer job in March after being alerted to her involvement with gang members. ATF authorities say Burns had been on the run, but they took her into custody earlier this afternoon.
When you have someone that abuses that authority, or they abuse that special position of confidence and trust, and they do it not even just to benefit themselves, they do it to help out someone who's going to prey on other people, that's the kind of thing that we really want to target as a federal agent.
ATF authorities say that Burns and all of the other people involved could spend years in federal prison if convicted. Alexandra?
All right, thanks, Delane. A 10-year-old Brooklyn Park boy is lucky to be alive after an unusual accident on the playground. Reporter Sonia Goins explains what happened.
Gabriel West is happy to be out of the hospital. Today is his birthday.
He was outside playing.
His mom says he almost didn't make it to 10.
Instead of celebrating his birthday, I could be burying him.
Tuesday evening, Gabriel was having fun on the playground at Park Haven Apartments when something went terribly wrong.
Oh my God, he's dead, was what I thought.
Stacy says when she heard her son was in trouble, she rushed right out to the playground. That's where she found him hanging from these monkey bars with a strap wrapped around his neck.
It was hanging. It was not it, and I was playing, and I was swinging like this, and I slipped off the monkey bar thing.
He had no pulse. His eyes were rolling in the back of his head. He was foaming at his mouth.
Gabe's friend helped to get him out of the straps, which was not part of the equipment. Stacy then performed CPR.
I got him to breathe before the ambulance actually got there. The minute I said, God, please don't do this to me, he came back.
Gabriel says it'll be a while before he gets back out on the playground. But when he does, Stacy will be right there with him.
I just know he'll be more cautious at what he plays with, because he knows that this could have cost him his life.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Stacy says she doesn't know where the strap came from. Someone may have put it there along with a knife that was found also on the ground.
A lawsuit on behalf of a Brooklyn Park family names a local bus company and Osseo area schools in a case involving a preschool boy who was allegedly left unattended on a school bus. The incident happened in January of 2013. The lawsuit filed this week alleges a bus driver with the Metropolitan Transportation Network failed to notice that a 4-year-old boy didn't get off at his preschool and was still on the bus when the driver parked the vehicle. The case claims the driver did not immediately report the incident. Neither the bus company nor the school district offered a comment on the case.
As the Minnesota legislature puts the finishing touches on an $846 million bonding bill, it won't include money for the Plymouth Ice Center. Plymouth had asked the state for a little over $2 million to make upgrades to the center. The rink needs a new roof, scoreboards, and an upgrade to the refrigerant system to meet new federally mandated standards. But they were turned down in this session.
We are very disappointed. Again, we do believe that it's an important asset for the region and the state. So we will be going back on the next session to request bonding dollars for the future.
City officials say the rink will operate as usual as they seek future funding. One local project that did make the list is $1.2 million in improvements to the National Guard Armory in Brooklyn Park.
Officials in Osseo say it's an indication of a strong rental market. Osseo broke ground today on an expanded $25 million apartment complex near City Hall. Phase 1 of the 5 central apartments will have 71 apartments. Now Phase 2 will add about 70 more.
I understand from the city that when we're open, we're probably going to increase the population in Osseo by maybe as much as 10%. So yes, we're going to have an impact.
In addition to more 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, Phase 2 of the project will feature a green space and business center. Construction should be finished by next spring. It's been a year since Governor Mark Dayton signed legislation legalizing same-sex marriage.
Local wedding vendors didn't see an immediate bump in business, but one venue hopes to very soon. Shannon Slatton explains.
From the fountain and the courtyard,
each room has its own characteristics and charm.
To the many different rooms of the Earle Brown Heritage Center.
Nothing is a cookie cutter. It's all customized. It comes down to what they are looking for their day.
There are plenty of options to make a wedding day unique.
We walked in and the people here were just great, and we kind of fell in love with it just from the get-go.
For Brooklyn Center couple Dale Dobius and James Ipe,
it just fell into place.
This is the perfect spot for their October wedding reception.
We live over in Brooklyn Center, and so it was kind of this midway point. And then with the hotels, because we have so many out-of-town people, so we thought that would be convenient.
James and Dale's reception is one of 6 same-sex events that the Earle Brown Heritage Center has scheduled since Governor Dayton signed the legislation 1 year ago. Same-sex marriage has been legally recognized in Minnesota since last August.
There's more people out looking. I mean, our salespeople are taking more calls. There's a lot more interest. There's a lot more questions.
But the venue hopes to attract more.
I expect it to grow in the coming years too.
Managers have adjusted advertising and made their approach very personal so they can help any couple with their wedding day wishes.
They've just been very accommodating and wonderful to work with.
It's all fallen into place very, very easily, and we've been very happy with that.
In Brooklyn Center, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The Earle Brown Heritage Center averages about 90 weddings a year. Coming up, life is a stage for our standout students.
And then later in sports, Maple Grove's softball team aims for a conference championship. But first, another chilly night, but warming up for the weekend.
If you are a patron of children's theater, chances are you may have seen one Golden Valley young woman on stage.
Anna Evans performs and teaches theater to kids through the Golden Valley Parks and Recreation Department. And Shannon Slatton introduces us to this standout student.
We will hear the angels singing in that morning.
In the field of the arts, I think it's most important to know yourself.
And then we'll let it just end with the alto ones.
Knowing who you are is a big part of making your voice heard.
And she does. She absolutely does.
In this choir, inspiration comes not from a soprano.
She's one of those kids that makes the ensemble better. She makes the production better for being a part of it because she manages to inspire everybody else's work.
But from the attitude behind the voice.
She's just a great leader. She comes with a great attitude every day.
Anna Evans is a junior at Armstrong. She has stood out in choir, but also in theater, recently in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
I played the mischievous fairy Puck, and that was a blast. It was my first experience with Shakespeare.
Anna has acted since she was 10 in productions all around the metro.
I didn't even think about it as, I'm acting. It was just fun.
But Anna wanted to push herself.
And really finding a way that I can grow outside of doing a show.
So on her own, Anna studied theater intensely and compiled a portfolio to be a Minnesota Department of Education Scholar of Distinction in Theater Arts.
It really pushed me in a different way than being on stage did.
This month, Anna became the first student from the Robbinsdale district to receive the award.
It helped me ask myself questions about who I am as a performer.
And knowing more about herself will only help her career on stage.
Her level of desire for excellence is really not unmatched, but really unique among high school students.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Anna plays the role of Thing One in the children's theater production of The Cat in the Hat, which opens next week. Very talented. Coming up, how art class can be a bit like therapy.
But next in sports, the Section Boys tennis playoffs get started. John Jacobson has the highlights.
John Jacobson with sports now. I know coaches always say, don't look too far ahead, but when you're doing as well as Maple Grove softball, I mean, how can you help
Hard
it?
not to, right?
You think about the state tournament again, but you got to get through the regular season first, and Maple Grove is doing that in good order. The top-ranked Maple Grove softball team has goals beyond the regular season. The Crimson aim to wrap up the Northwest Suburban Conference title as they face Blaine in a doubleheader. Game 1 highlights, and Jordan Mock gets Maple Grove started with a drive to the gap in right center. Maddie Gordon's in to score, and it's 1-0 Crimson in the bottom of the first. With Sarah Southern up, they trade it out for a run on the double steal. The Bengals get the runner at second. Josie Rail beats the return throw home, and it's 2-0 after an inning. In the third, Mock lines a hit over third base. Gordon dashes around to score from second, and Maple Grove's up 4-0. Mock had a huge game at the plate for Maple Grove. Not all of the hard hit balls drop in. Watch the catch by Blaine center fielder Cassidy Eppenberger, robbing Megan Mulcrone of a hit. And not to be outdone, Crimson right fielder Gordon with a shoestring catch on the sinking liner by Kylie Cassidy. Nearly doubles the runner off first, but she's ruled safe. Maple Grove breaks it open with 2 in the 5th and 4 runs in the 6th. Sarah Michaels hit scores a run in the 5th. Maple Grove secures the conference title with a 10-2 win. They took game 2, 6-4. Baseball fields with lights like Memorial Field and Osseo are perfect when rainouts force teams into late season doubleheaders. Osseo hosted Armstrong in a Northwest Suburban Conference twin bill Wednesday. Highlights from the afternoon game. Bottom of the first, Osseo's John Ludwig with a 2-out hit that scores Rudy Alexander and ties the score at 1. The Falcons answer right back. Top of the second, Ricky Reed drops a hit down the line. Jordan Kuznia and Mike Suzuki score. Armstrong leads 4-1 after 2. Bottom of the third, Ludwig comes through again with a base hit up the middle. A.J. Lyons and Justin Philippon score, trimming the Armstrong lead to 5-4. And Ludwig outstanding in this game. Bottom of the fourth, cracking a 2-out, 3-run homer that caps a 5-run inning and gives Osseo a 9-7 lead. The Orioles go on to win 11-7. Armstrong won the second game of the doubleheader 7-3. In girls lacrosse, Armstrong is closing in on a Northwest Suburban Conference title. The Falcons look to remain unbeaten in the league Wednesday when they hosted Anoka. Early first half, Mari Verbaten sets up Haley Holdall for the shot and goal. And Armstrong leads 1-0. Miranda Calbear from behind the net passes to Amy Master for the quick shot and goal. It's 3-0 Armstrong. From the free position, Kelsey Osdick gets her shot past goalie Molly Scarborough, and it's 5-0 Armstrong. Andrea Favasev with a long run for the Falcons delivers a pass to Holdall. That makes it 6-1 Falcons. They're up 9-2 at the half. Second half, Calbear scores one of her 2 second-half goals. Armstrong is now 6-0 in the conference, and they win it over Anoka 15-2. It's playoff time for local boys tennis teams. The Section 5 AA tournament, which includes several teams from the area, got started Wednesday. Osseo played host to Rogers in one of those matches. Number 1 singles play. Osseo's Pete Burnos in the far court. Jonah Larson of Rogers to the net. Bites off 2 passing shots, but not that one. Burno wins 6-love, 6-1. Second singles, a good one. Cody Pernick of Rogers in the far court against Cody Warner. Warner with a couple of angled volleys, but it's Pernick getting the point with the drop shot there. Same match, more good net action. This time Osseo's Warner gets to the net first. He'll take the point with a volley on the way to a 6-4, 7-5 win. Osseo's Connor Dahlberg in the far court of third singles. He'll chase it down and takes the point with a backhand slice, and Dahlberg wins a straight set match over Garrett Scherber. Number 1 doubles play, the Rogers duo of Drew Poots and A.J. Peterson in the far court. Derek Brown running down the lob, but Brown and Josh Mulvaney lose a close one. That's the only win for Rogers. Osseo wins the match 6-1. The Orioles are playing top-seeded Maple Grove today.
Some good weather for tennis.
Not bad, a little windy, but
Yeah.
they were able to fight through that.
All right, thanks, John. We'll be right back. In Golden Valley, there's a special class designed to bring out your inner artist.
As Neil Persley reports, it's an art class that's also good for the soul.
Loved art.
Frankly, she is such an incredibly good teacher.
Sun bathed the room in warm tones of yellow and gold. It set the perfect serene atmosphere for another session of Watercolor Basics.
The last 9 years I've been able to teach art classes.
Carolyn Papke is a retired teacher and artist with a master's in arts education and a gift for teaching.
And I thought, I need to do this just here in Golden Valley. So last 3 years I've been doing these classes here.
Although the classes are open to all,
I think the majority are tend to be people who have just retired, kind of getting back into things they wanted to do.
The calm atmosphere of this class and the concentration level is amazing. Carolyn is sort of the Zen master of watercolor instruction.
One of the benefits is that you get completely lost in this. And it's not quite like meditation, but it's hard to be worrying about other things if you're simply not even thinking about it.
Then you're just in the moment doing what you're doing, and everything else, all your problems and worries are just kind of escaped.
Just amazing how you can start with something that you think isn't going to turn out like anything you expect and that you'd like. All of a sudden it starts to look good. Makes you feel good. It's a good teacher.
I enjoy doing it, so I'm pleased to be able to pass on skills.
in Golden Valley, Neil Persley, 12 News.
If you need to be relaxed, that would be the place to
Oh,
go.
yeah, makes
and
you-
talk like you're a golf announcer.
That's right.
Good for them, though. That's great. Well, finally, we have some news of our own here at Channel 12.
It is the best kind of story to report. Reporter Cassie Bonstrom and her husband Joel welcomed their very first child into the world on Wednesday afternoon. Madeline Ray Bonstrom tipped the scales at 6 pounds 7 ounces. We're told mom, baby, and the whole family is doing well. Look at that
Wow.
head of hair. I love it. They're going to call her Maddie for short.
Very nice. Oh, good for them. Congratulations, everybody.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.